All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to City Council Reassessment Public Hearing Number 2. My name is Willie Lightfoot, City Councilman at Large, and I'll let my colleague introduce herself.
My name is Stanley Martin, and thank you all for joining us.
All right, wonderful. So Kim Smith is out of town, we do know that, and all of the other council members, to include the mayor and the assessor and administration, were invited not only to this session, but all of our sessions. They have been invited to. We are currently just finishing 3 days of budget hearings, very intense budget hearings where we go through our entire budget department by department. In that conversation, we asked extensive questions in regards to assessments, who's going to be impacted, whether they're over that 60% threshold or not, who will be impacted and what zip codes will they be impacted in, and various other very intentional questions around the impact of this reassessment. Our intentions want to be very clear. Our intentions here are to fix what we believe is a broken system, an antiquated system, and that we believe that we can do our assessments. We know that we can do our assessments in a better, more equitable, transparent process. So that is our intent to do. Before we even get going into our speakers, we'll have a moment of silence. We did have a violent weekend this weekend in the 19th Ward area, and we just want to have a moment of silence before we get going. Thank you. Thank you. We would ask, please, sir, please, ma'am, if you would be considerate of your neighbor, considerate of the respect of this chamber and this body. We ask that you would refrain from any profanity or any language that is inappropriate for such a setting as this. We are not here to answer any of your questions tonight. We are not here to present. We're simply here to listen and allow and give the public opportunity to share your lived experience in regards to this reassessment process, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent. Some have gotten appointments and gone through challenging. Some are still challenging, even through the court system, small claims court system that we're aware of. Some did not get an opportunity to challenge and or appeal their reassessment. So this gave the community an opportunity. And I thank my colleagues, Martin, I thank my colleagues, Councilmember Smith and Councilmember Lupien, for joining with me in this quest and journey for equity, for transparency, and for a fair assessment process. And so that's what this is all about. At the end, we'll go through our recommendations. They are a working document, meaning we may be adding some additional things to that. Once we receive the data that we've asked for and the questions answered or unanswered from the administration through the budget process. After we get those answers and we convene, we reconvene and regroup our 4 council members, then we will probably have an update for the community as where we are on this entire process and how we're going to move forward. Okay, so that's how things are going to go. We're going to do just as we did our last meeting. I think that was very efficient. We'll go by row, and we'll start from my left or your right to your left, my left to my right, and everyone will get 3 minutes and an opportunity to address us. And we'll start from row 2. Well, 1, 2, looks like 3, and my left. Thank you.
Good evening, City Council.
Turn the mic on, sir.
Turn the mic
Yep.
on.
Push the button.
Green light.
Green light.
Testing, testing. There we go. Good evening, Council. Thank you, Mr. Lightfoot and Ms. Martin for being here. Shame on the mayor and the city attorney, Mr. Beath, for not being here. We've repeatedly requested that they be here, and they're just dissing us. In the past, my name is Alexander Phoenix, homeowner, City of Rochester. In the past 5 months, I have attended numerous city council meetings, hearings, community gatherings, written dozens of emails, and filed a few complaints. In all of these communications, I have voiced my concerns about the appraisal process used by the City of Rochester and the reassessment process. Like a broken record, I have repeatedly asked, where are the appraisals? First, I was met with silence, then I was told that it was confidential information protected by the New York State executive law. Then I was told to FOIL request my appraisal, which I received. And then a few days, and in the past few days, I have been told that no appraisals were done and the word appraisal should not be used and no appraisers were involved in the valuation process. The more times I ask where the appraisals are, the more the narrative shifts in the most arbitrary and capricious manner. I now have a mountain of documentation that proves that government officials are acting in an arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable manner. Mr. Zazzara now claims that no appraisal reports were performed. If no appraisal reports were performed, why did the city advertise that certified appraisers would be available at the Get the Facts resource sessions? That screenshot is still on the city website, by the way, if anyone's interested. If no appraisal reports were performed, has Mr. Zazzara and his staff and city employees allowed talk of appraisals to persist for so long? If no appraisals were done, why is Mr. Zazzara required to be a certified appraiser in his capacity as city assessor? If no appraisals were done, what methodology did the city of Rochester use in its valuation of all 65,000 properties that were reassessed this year? If no appraisals were done, why did the city respond to my FOIL request for my appraisal by sending me a document? Why did the city respond with no appraisals were done? The Department of State is claiming that the city of Rochester is misusing the word appraisal. I'm going to read from a letter from Mr. Goldman, John Goldman, at the Department of State City Licensing. This is I'm going to read his letter. Per Mr. Zazzara and the city of Rochester, there is no written appraisal report. Do you possess or have reason to believe an appraisal report completed by Mr. Zazzara exists? If not, as the state regulatory agency responsible for Mrs. Zazzara's conduct as an appraiser, the work product of which is an appraisal report, what is it you suggest we regulate or evaluate instead? Anyway, the letter, he denies my complaint and says that the city is misusing the word appraisal and appraiser, and that no appraisals were done and no appraisers worked for the city of Rochester. So there is some serious miscommunication going on. Thank you for my time. And I'd be happy to submit all that evidence to you in an Article 78 lawsuit that we can easily file and prevail in. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Hi, Dwight Robinson. All right, thank you for your time. I'm going to go over the process today. The process. In June, reassessments are done by 4 hired non-real estate agent people for Rochester. By December, skip all the way to August, they got from June to August to do it. In December, citizens are informed of the results of without comparables used. In January, citizens get a chance for a 6-minute fight for their lives and their homes. At that point, they decide if you gave a good case and they'll change what they got right the first time. If you don't agree with what they did or they don't change it, you have time to file an application with the Board of Assessment Review, the BAR. 1 month to prepare, and you have 5 minutes to fight for your life and your home. You say your piece, they don't say anything to you, the city says their piece, and in the end, they go with whatever the city says. That's my experience, and that's many homeowners' experiences. April, what happened? Yeah, in April, there's a public hearing, the hearing is public, but it's not public because it's behind closed doors. And it's so hard to find in. The security guards have to walk you into the public meeting, and then you go in, you go out, you go in, and you feel like you're getting a run. The feeling is very adversarial. The bar, the Board of Assessment Review, they are almost angry that you're there fighting for your home and explaining that you know your home better than anybody that just walked by the house and says all of a sudden it's worth twice, 3 times or 4 times what it was 2 years ago. And they get mad when you contradict contradict what they say, and you say, if I know this house says 3 bedrooms, but you can't use the 3rd bedroom, I know this, and I know that, and they just kind of ignore you. So after in May, after the final assessments are submitted, you get one more chance to fight. If you live in that house, if you don't live in that house, you're done. That last fight was your last fight. You can't go through a small claims review. I found that out the hard way when I tried, and they said, well, since you don't live there, it doesn't matter if you have tenants. You can't fight to lower your assessment, which will lower your taxes, which will lower the tenants' rents. I think the process is just highly flawed, and if they change it once, and then they change it again, that means that they didn't get it right. Thank you.
My name is Barbara McMinn.
I'd like to draw attention to some cases that I know personally that are having difficulties. I feel that this reassessment is going to make the problem of homelessness much worse. I know that there are so many young children affected by this. When I was trying to talk to people in our church about the reassessment issues, I did talk to a lady and I said to her, we'd be interested in getting involved, and she said that it was too late for her because of hardship and the cost of taxes and everything, she had to sell her home and move in with her sister-in-law, she and her husband. And I feel that there's so many cases out there that we're not aware of. I have another friend whose house was almost doubled and tripled. And concern that I have with that is she has a beautiful home, she keeps her home up. And she's not able to come to something like this because she has a 97-year-old mother that she can't leave. So I feel there are a lot of people that would be affected by this that are not able to get here for whatever reason. Another lady in our church, she bought her home, she's a single working lady, and she was able to purchase a home. And her assessment has doubled and even almost tripled. And she did try to challenge it, and she's not hearing anything back yet, she doesn't know what to do. So I feel this is something that, you know, there are a lot of people out there being affected by this. And I'm concerned about the fact that a lot of the elected officials, they're not coming to listen to us, they're not paying any attention to this problem. Earlier tonight, when we were waiting to come in, we saw the mayor. Obviously, he's not interested in coming and listening to this. And it's very important for people to be informed and to know what's going on. One of the things that I'm feeling that they're not standing up for the hardworking people of Rochester. And it comes to the point where I feel the people have to stand up for themselves, because they really need to get together and challenge all these things that are happening. Because without this, nothing's going to change. And I do appreciate the time the council members that are interested in coming. I do appreciate listening to that. And I would feel that people need to get together and take legal action if necessary, because this may be the only way for people to get this resolved. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kevin McMinn. I want to thank the council members for helping us out on this, doing the fair thing. I'm sorry that I don't agree with a person should have to fight with somebody that's an elected official to get what's right for them. It just isn't right. And when I see the mayor walk out of the building, not a half an hour before the start of this meeting, with a car waiting at the curb for him, running. Now, how productive is that in financial with the car running, with the air conditioning on? Why can't he walk just like the rest of us? I can't understand it. You know, they wonder why they have financial problems. They're causing all their problems. They need to step back and reassess the situation. And how can you reassess real estate property without an appraisal. I'd like to know how that's done. Thank you.
Any Rochester homeowners who are in this room tonight have probably convinced themselves that the successive tax assessment won't be a problem for them, that they can simply throw money at it and it will go away. That's where I was 4 years ago, the last time Michael Cesara yanked up the city tax assessments. He personally assured me that I could qualify for a disability exemption when we spoke on the phone 5 years ago. And then he asked me a lot of personal questions about my divorce, and then tried to invite himself over to my house to see how I was living in it. I'm not saying the city tax assessor is a pervert or would-be rapist. I'm simply saying he's a man who abuses his influence with impunity. What I'm trying to tell you is that your excessive assessment problem has a name. It's Michael Cesara. Do I believe Michael Cesara has had at least 5 years of experience flipping real estate? Yes. I'll also tell you that after a few online searches, I know that Michael Cesara has 1 or 2 fairly high-profile friends in other towns who still flip real estate. I can tell you for a fact that this creates a conflict of interest and that Michael Cesara plans to yank the property taxes up every 4 years until the buildings his buddies want either go up for sale or foreclosure auction. I know that as long as Michael Cesara remains in office, he will continue to behave with impunity and without conscience. I went to Catholic school for junior high, and both years around Easter, we did the Stations of the Cross. On the day Jesus was condemned to death, the city officials made him carry his cross up the hill. Jesus fell 3 times, women wept, Simon was made to help him. Finally, Jesus gets to the top of the hill and the guards strip him naked. And while he's there watching with no dignity left, they cast lots for his raiment. The guards auction off all his worldly possessions with the Son of God standing there, and then they nail him to the cross. Just so all of you know, when someone is allowed to take away everything you own, you know there's nothing left for you, that you're worth nothing, that the city is about to nail you to the cross. That's what you're worth to city assessor Michael Cesara. You're all living on borrowed time, while he extorts all the money he can out of you year after year. If you can't pay, you go on the street. The feeling we live with day after day follows our children to school and to the playground. Our worthlessness is understood by the roofing and plumbing contractors who rip us off over and over, year after year, and laugh about it, make TV commercials about it. What's Michael Cesara doing about it? He's selling our houses right out from under us, right while we're living in them. Well, poor Richard had something to say about that. He who sells what isn't his must make good or go to prison. You guys need a new process of raising revenue. If someone can't pay their property taxes, maybe the answer is community service, not enforced homelessness. Thank you for your time.
Ma'am, your name for the record, please.
Andrea Olivier, I live in Spielberg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Julie Allard. Did not intend to speak tonight, but because I'm a believer in paying your taxes for the good of the community. I guess what I'm concerned about is for the good of the community part. The violence, the, youth, I just feel like, where is this money going? Who are we helping with this? I mean, we have huge poverty, we have huge food insecurity, we have violence. I mean, I don't feel like I'm struggling, and I know, relatively speaking, I'm not in that bad of shape. So I can't even imagine, where's this money going? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, let's start from that row here. Thank you.
My name is Lynn Smith. Thank you for putting your careers on the line for us. Not many politicians would do that, even though they're supposed to, since we are your constituency. Thank you for exposing the local deep state, because we're finding out that the deep state is more interested in power than people. So we thank you for that. My assessment review was March 28th. As of this date, I haven't heard anything. It's been crickets. So I don't know if I prevailed. I don't know if I failed, because no one has said anything to me. My name to your father, I live with him in his house, and he came here to support you and to support me. So we do thank you for what you're doing. We know that the Lord is on our side. It might look treacherous now, but even Goliath had to fall. So we're expecting Goliath to fall. Thank you.
My name is Stephen Deere. I live on Grand Avenue in the city. My assessment went up close to 250%. I did appeal. They didn't want to hear anything about offers from people to buy my home. When I talked to people on the phone, they said, fine, we'll let you know. I got the letter with my reassessment, which is now only 70% more than what I paid or was previously assessed at. So I'm thankful for that. But it also came after any deadline to appeal that. The people are talking about having 6 minutes. My brother was given 10 seconds to decide whether he would accept the board's decision or the board would decide themselves. I mean, not even a shady, fast-talking used car salesman does that to people. Okay? And I hear a lot out of the mayor's office about if you're under a certain percentage, your taxes probably won't go up. If it's above, yes. I don't see anybody from Monroe County talking about what this reassessment is going to do to my county taxes. When I talked to the county treasury this morning, they said, yes, if your taxes increase 200%, there go your county taxes, 200%. So this is just really nailing the population of Rochester.
Right.
Hello, my name is Kevin. I'm a county taxpayer, and I want to address the microphone. It is wholly insufficient for picking up the audio at these meetings. I can't hear, the people at home can't hear. I should hope that this would be a city-wide, a county-wide conundrum. What are we going to do about the reassessments that the city is proposing? It's a big, big problem. We're assembled as taxpayers here in the city of Rochester tonight to address our grievance with this taxpayer-funded government for the good of the community, and to echo the need to collectively say no to the city reassessment agenda. A vote against the reassessment is a vote against the nepotism of this government. It's a vote against the lawlessness, a vote against the child traffickers in the Rochester City School District. It's a vote against the vote riggers at the Monroe County Democrat Committee. It's a vote in favor of the people in this circumstance, a vote for families, for the students, for the victims of the crimes and tragedies that characterize this city, for law and order, and for true equal democracy, the right for city taxpayers to vote in an equal proportion in the legislature to county residents. They are wildly underrepresented. How many mayors do you have in the city of Rochester, and how many mayors are there in the county of Monroe? How many town supervisors are there in the county of Monroe versus the city of Rochester? Right? This is mismanagement by design. The only logical consequence, I think, historically in this young city of ours, with all the grift and the corruption, which of course we can expect, is, oh shoot, I just went on branch there, Sarah. Anyway, these people are not on our side. They're acting like they're on our side, like they're still gonna go back to the chambers. We're gonna go down to Mayor Evans, who just walked by as I was walking in, because they can't be bothered by this huge crisis on our end in the city of Rochester. This is a very big crisis. The people in this room are very important. We need more taxpayers in this room to get the ball rolling on this issue, because what they're proposing to tax you all, and during this time that we're in right now, it's absolutely absurd that they can't be bothered to be here. They can't, these people, I want to say they are corrupt, right? But realistically, the city charter it's inadequate. These people are totally overwhelmed. The district clerk is doing the job of 5 district clerks. The district clerk is totally overwhelmed. The council members totally overwhelmed because there's 200,000 residents in the city of Rochester, and there's no ground level democracy the way that there is in the council. This is the number one issue. This is what's causing all the other issues. These are the empty promises that they're going to continue to give us. The empty promises that never get fulfilled. The blatant, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for that.
Thank you all. And my name is Amy Hampton Pettyfoot.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, my name is Amy Hampton Pettyfoot. And I'd like to say that I still feel from the beginning that this home assessment is flawed and wrong and injustice because it's not transparent. And I go back to my own personal case. I spoke with 3 people today. I couldn't even convince them to come because they already said, oh, the city's going to do what they want to do. The mayor don't listen to anyone. The city is just going to do what it's going to do. So even coming to the council meeting, what good is it going to do? It's all 3 people said the same, basically the same thing. They don't have confidence in our city and the people who run the city who's supposed to be on our side, and they don't feel that they are. And then when I tell them about the assessment, like, hey, I feel silly because the assessment was flawed, it was wrong because they assessed me when I had the first assessment, they gave me 5 homes. Say that's what they based it on. Then they gave me at the fair hearing, they gave me 5 more. And the other, none of them really compared to my home itself. So how can you say this is how you base my assessment on if you don't have no proof? And now when you look for proof, there is no proof of how they actually did our assessment. There's nothing that they can have one document that say, oh, at your address, we use these homes to assess your property. That's how we got it, but it's not there. It's no, you can't find it anywhere, and they don't have it, and it's not fair. And for all the people who taxes is gonna go up, home insurance that's gonna go up, county taxes that's gonna go up, it's unfair. And to just jump so high in 4 years, or, you know, you did the assessment in 2023, but when you did it 4 years ago, you go from 1,000, 2,000, now you go up to 60, 70, 80, 100,000, 200,000. No preparation for anybody to see this coming or anything. It's definitely just unfair to the city. And I know it's going to affect everyone, not just the very poor, or the one who has a little bit more money than the working class, but it's going to affect us all. And it's very, very unfair. That's how I see. So I will hope you guys will, you know, stick with us and don't pass it. Try not to. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connie Smith, I'm over the 19th ward, not as prepared as I thought I was gonna be. Just wanna say the same thing I said before, the assessments need to be based on your street, not based on the whole zip code, because I'm not sure how many houses are in the 19th ward, but I still feel like you went to the 5 most upgrade homes to compare with my home. And like I said, you don't know what my foundation looks like, you don't know what my pipes look like, and how much crime is on my street, and what things are done. But what I would like to see is the $100,000 rates on the assessment go back to city owners. We built this city. We worked hard and accomplished to get our homes from us, and now you want to force us out like you did Cornhill. Cornhill was a predominantly owned, not rented area. You forced those people out, gave them probably $40,000. Now those homes are worth $20,000, $200,000. Yes, please give the money back to taxpayers. Invest in your city, because that's not what's happening. Before there were all these grants and trying, oh, we want to keep homeowners in the home. These got this bull line with, oh, we want to make sure families can get an affordable home. One of my friends went through one of their programs. And when she went to the bank that they represented on the paper, she said, we don't even know nothing about the program. She went to 5 banks. And only one of them knew about the program for first time buyers. You can't give out misinformation and haven't talked to the right person. I went through one of the buying programs through the city to help me buy my home. And I'm one of the first people in my family to own a home. I would like to keep my home and give it to my son eventually when I'm gone from here. But that's not gonna happen if you keep going up on the houses when the value actually hasn't changed for the home. Thank you.
Liz,
Liz.
are you,
Somebody else.
yep, we'll come back. Next, on the other side. Next row, yep, Clay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Council men and women. Do appreciate y'all being here. I know your colleagues who've been on our side, if you will, not here. They had some other business to attend to, but we appreciate them in their absence. But the real problem is the majority, the other 5, they ain't came to nan one of them. And shame on them, you know, because they really supposed to represent the people. And they have not represented the people. They were elected by the people. The funny thing is, to be honest, they think they've been elected by the mayor, Malik, because 3 of them was with us until he called them in his office. And I don't know what he said to them. I don't know what he promised them. They don't even talk to us anymore. They saw the light. They heard the numbers. Even the thunder and the lightning roar. But they ain't came and told us nothing. Right? They haven't told us if they represent us. Why didn't they come and tell us what they heard? Everybody remember why is it just a reassessment? I say it's not just reassessment. I say the comparables and the actual appraisals, which really don't exist, those are flawed. The whole process is flawed. And I cannot believe, for the life of me, that our 5 city council people and the mayor, who know how hard it's been over the years, that he's not really for the people.
So,
Serious. I've known him for years. People have been asking him to listen. People have been asking the 5 city council people to listen. And you know what? They treat us like we ain't nothing.
That's right.
They treat us like we're a gnat or a fly and get away. Because we know better. We know the way. I think the way is broad to them. And they gotta be careful. Because it does lead to destruction. We don't want the city destroyed. But if this assessment goes in, this city will be destroyed. Because it cannot handle and sustain these prices. People are already on the street. You got nowhere to live because the rents are too high. Can't buy a house because it's too high. I say vote down the budget. That's what I say. I say vote down the budget. Vote down the budget. Vote down the budget. Getting this and then.
Time's up, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to the next row. Unless. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Angela Wallace, and, I would like to say, I'm an avid researcher. And, I research systems, okay? And the way that the city is working on systems are not people. Okay, so, the system is doing what the system was designed to do. Okay, so on one hand, they say, okay, we can give you something, and the other hand, they can take it away. For the simple fact, they have the home program where you could buy homes. Okay, but at the same time, you can't keep it. Why? Because they won't take it back. Okay, in my terms, I call it trickology. Okay, that's what I call it. Okay, and you need to do something about it, because if we had more, things that we could bring people in to get more money, they won't be trying to sit off us. Okay, we don't have more churches here to bring nobody in to get money. Okay, so what they do, they get the money from the citizens.
So I kind of lost track of where we are, but if you haven't spoken and you'd like to speak, just make your way. Make your way to the front, to the podium, please. If you haven't spoken and you would like to speak. Thank you. Good evening.
Have no papers today.
Is your mic on? Is the mic on?
Take it from the heart.
My name is Cheryl Robinson, and I live on Pershing Drive, just off of Robert Street. And I've done a lot of stuff in the community for a good 35+ years, mostly in the Beechwood neighborhood, because that's where I grew up. There are people that think that I am or was a city employee because I bent over backwards to make sure they understood what the city had to offer. Now I'm just, I guess, yeah, all of that. Frustrated, tired, disappointed, because I was one of those people that felt whoever we elected deserved our support and our respect. Because they were getting things done for us. I can no longer say that I feel like that. And unfortunately, there are people that I know that have helped the city out in neighborhoods for as long as I have or more, that are contemplating leaving the city, and that hurts me. Because they gave so much to everybody, regardless of who they were or what they did. They all felt the same way that I feel. Proud to be a Rochesterian. But I can honestly say I'm pulling my hair out because I can't give them what they need. I can send them in a different direction, and they're not getting the answers or the support that they seek, no matter where I point them to. So all I can say is I was hoping that we can pause the reassessment, because too many people I'm running into still don't have a clue on what it's all about. They need to understand how that's going to impact them. And they need the truth. It's not that hard. They just need the truth. And the budget, yeah, I think we ought to vote that down too. It's not benefiting those that need that benefit. It's benefiting a handful of people, well, I should say, the business segment, but not necessarily the people in the neighborhoods. You can't forget them. You've got elderly people that have stayed in the city all these years and did what they were supposed to do. And now they're gonna get kicked to the curb. That's not a good, it's just not a good feel. Thank you for your time and remember the people that build consciousness. Thank you.
If you have not had an opportunity to speak and you would like to speak, I encourage you to come forward, please.
Please state your name for the record.
Mr. Randy, could you do me a favor if you don't mind, sir? Yeah, could you take that down and just speak up a little, get a little closer to the mic? Thank you so much, sir.
I'm calling, commenting regarding, I have property at lots located on Fruit Street in the city, left the board.
Speak a little louder, will you please?
I've had the property for over 30 years. My assessment has been, increased largely from $1,500 to $7,200. These are vacant lots. I have 3 of them. They're combined. They were combined and now they're subdivided, which they are 130 square feet, 130 square feet width and length, so 40 feet, 30 to 40 feet. So I have 3 total, 540 square feet. And I would like to know why I had my lots gone up so high. And also at the same time, 1,500 each lot is individually assessed for $7,200 each. And I'm kind of concerned because I would like to do something with my plans. My plans kind of down right now. And I may possibly, I mentioned it before, to an assessment one, that they go to the assessment one. And the point I made up to just combine all 3 lots back together into one. And I don't think the spiritual will be paid the same amount for each lot, $7,200 for 3 lots each. So, one of the, I heard you mention that, I think it's fair. As I said, I'm paying $1,500 per lot per year, and that's not including the county taxes. And now it's jumped up 6 times as much as one of the most. Well, bring it to the attention. It's not only that, I have other ones also as a increase in like 75%. I just wanted to bring it to the past. Yes.
If there's anyone else in, with us who would like to speak, now's your opportunity to come forward. If you would like to address, thank you. Also, just for your FYI, all of our sessions, every session we pretty much, for the most part that we've done, has been streamed and transparent. This session is being streamed. It's on the City Council YouTube page. This session and the previous session before that we had can be shared on Facebook, can be sent to individuals, etc. So if you're looking for this later and you want to see your comments that you made, or you want to share this with other individuals, you're able to do that by simply going to the City of Rochester City Council YouTube channel.
Hi, I live on the southwest side.
Speak a little louder.
Yeah, right into that microphone, please. Yeah, there you go. Yes, thank you.
And I'm here because to me, this city is just a disaster. Because when I want the budget voted down, I want the assessment voted down. Because they don't listen to the people. And I've been living in Rochester my whole life. And they never have I been able to talk to anybody and get any answers. I believe, and from my experience, people work for the city, the city government, the county government, all of read from a script that they give. And then they tell the people what they want the people to know instead of actually informing. And then they omit stuff that they don't want people to know about. I think they're all crooks. They're all crooks. And they've been crooks for years. Just like the aid, what's that money? The American Rescue Plan money. Where did all that go? Why didn't the people in the neighborhood see any of that? Okay, and if they talk about they gave it to the people at what is that? The GBI. When they knew this is one thing that they did that I thought was really wrong. They They told the people in the city, oh, everybody come and apply for the GPI, right? Then you go and apply, find out later, just found out a couple months ago, that the GBI was only designated to certain areas of the city. The northeast side and maybe the northwest, but the northeast, it sure was. So why did they tell everybody in the city to come and apply when they knew good well that they was not going to be included in it?
That's right.
They lied. They lied, that's all they did. And that's why y'all don't need to vote, I'm telling you. Because ain't nobody gonna get on there that gonna help us.
That's right.
Nobody gonna get on there that gonna do for us. They only gonna do for certain people. They friends, they little cliques.
It's true.
We know about this, I've been knowing about it all my life. Living in the righteous. Most people that die.
If you haven't had an opportunity to speak and you would like to speak, this is your opportunity. This is the last public hearing we have before our budget vote, which will be on the 18th of this month. So we created 2 opportunities for our citizens to express their opinion in regards to this reassessment process. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Liz. I am homeowner. I think we need to reevaluate, and I'm requesting that the city reevaluates how they do the assessments, and that they base it on people's income. Everybody in the same community doesn't have the same type of income. And with the assessments, it just brings it up to a higher rate. For example, well, I'll just tell a part of my story. In 2009, in 2001, I purchased my home. I purchased it because I wanted my kids to have a safe place to grow. I was raising 2 boys by myself. In 2014, I moved to Lotion. And with community support, I was able to put my home back to the bank. Now I feel like I'm in the same fight. It's just to keep going.
That's this.
I think with our Gini and everything else that's gone up in our community, there comes a time when you have to look at what the people are struggling with and bring some relief to the people in the community and not stress them out.
Yes.
There's been studies like when people lose their housing, it stresses their mental health. It stresses their homes. There's there's a link between violence in the community when people don't have a home.
Yes.
There is an increase in the death rate. People die in the streets. So, so it just has to be reevaluated and what to do. And the other thing too is if you don't, like somebody said earlier that, if the city raises their taxes, then the county uses the same assessment that the city uses. And then your county taxes go up as well. So we're getting hit on 2 different sides. Right. The other pieces are regarding RG&E. We asked city council to pass a study on RG&E, to do a feasibility study. They're making money hands over fist, which is another burden on the community. So, my ask is to reevaluate the process of how we deal with the assessments. It has to be fair, it has to be, upfront, community has a right to evaluate it. You should have known about this prior to. I didn't purchase my home to leave it, or to be taxed on.
Is there anyone who has not spoken who would like to speak? Now is your opportunity to speak if you have not spoken. Yes, sir. Just state your name and you can start. Speak right into the mic, Ed.
Yes. My name is Eddie Williams. As for the reassessment meeting, my rent over the past year. I know properties will increase in value over time, but 100% a year is too much. It's hard on homeowners and now it's hard on renters. Rochester is a melting pot and it's hard on renters.
Yes.
Rochester is a melting pot, but it's also a blue collar city. These rates will drive out the poor middle class. They're vacant, abandoned, and deserted, and houses and buildings. They drive down value, aid drug use, and a multitude of crimes. We also need to address the stolen cars issue. The insurance companies don't want to insure us. Our youth and citizens are in danger as well prices. Man was sit on a bicycle and laid out shaking in my yard. The same day I spoke here last time. My brother's name is Tommy Williams. He's been missing since the second. There's a lot of abandoned, deserted, and vacant places around the city to unfortunately put people. If we didn't have so many deserted areas, it might cut down on the crime in Rochester, and I might still have a brother.
Is there anyone else who would like to address us tonight in this public hearing? If not, we're going to move. I want to take an opportunity, first of all, to applaud each and every one of you for showing up, some of you consistently, throughout several meetings throughout this city and county. I appreciate your voices. And then one thing we've also saw, and why it was important for us to record and stream these meetings, we saw a lot of people who we've never seen before. And what we've heard, and I know my colleague, and I'll give her an opportunity to share as well. We often hear, oh, well, that's the same, they got the same people, same old people showing up, same old, whoa, they're people.
Amen.
They're constituents. They pay taxes. They need help. It's our responsibility to help them, regardless if it's the same person or people. But we've heard a lot from a lot of people who we've never seen before. So that narrative has changed. And what I can say, and I'm not speaking for my colleague, she'll have her own words, but is that we've come because we care. We're here because we're present with you and we hear you, and we're doing everything within our power to fix broken systems. I say it all the time. We have broken people, broken systems, and corruption. Our recommendations condensed are as follows, and then I'll open the floor for my colleague to have words, and then we'll let you go. Ban inaccurate assessment methods like mass appraisals. Require the city assessor, not contractors, to perform property appraisals using accurate methods. Require assessors to prove comparable sales. Used for assessments are fair and not the results of unusual market activity. Require at least 5 years of relevant real estate experience for Board of Assessment members. Members must be confirmed annually by the City Council, post staff, and board members' credentials on the city website. Publish all assessment data on the city website and in print 90 days before it is final, including the New York State Real Property System reports and adjustment data for each individual parcel. Create and publish a reassessment timeline calendar online and in print for the public and hold reassessment public education annually. Put reassessment challenge forms to be more accessible. Fast track the Freedom of Information requests for comparable sales reports during re-evaluations. Live stream assessment hearings. Ensure public participation with consistent meeting locations and train staff on the open meetings law. Penalize the Assessment Bureau if they do not comply with the above recommendations, including budget cuts and staff reductions. So those are just a few. And again, we have several questions that are outstanding to the administration that we created during or came up during the budget hearings, and we're waiting to get that information back. We will assess that information, compile it, and we will have an update to the community forthcoming. At this time, I yield the floor to my colleague, Councilman Martin.
Property tax cap.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of you for consistently showing up and so many of the new faces I'm seeing here today. I know it's not easy to tell your story, especially when your safety is on the line, your children's life might be impacted by this. So I really appreciate what you're saying, and everything you said to me does matter. It does matter to my colleagues. And we are committed to listening and serving you, and taking action. I also want to give a huge shout out to my colleague, Councilmember Lightfoot. We really fought to make this an issue that everyone is paying attention to. It's something that is inspiring, and I'm so grateful to be in partnership with all of you and my colleagues, also Councilmember Lupian and Smith, and we are really committed to making sure this process does not happen again the way it does, in the way it did. Thank you again for being here.
Okay, so we're going to dismiss. We are done, just so you know, the process going forward. Our budget, our city council meeting is on the 18th of this month, Tuesday, here in City Council chambers. That meeting is not a speak to council meeting. You can attend. It is a public meeting. It will be streamed on YouTube, but that is when we will be voting for, at that council meeting is when we'll be voting on this 2024 budget that has been submitted. And so we hope prior to that time, to the 18th, that at least the four of us, myself, Councilmember Lupian, Councilmember Martin, Councilmember Smith, will be coming back to our community and releasing an update as to what we've learned in regards specifically to not only this, but there's many issues that we have concerns around concerning this budget. But we will have all of the information that we've asked for, or may not have all the information that we asked for, but at least we'll be able to update you on what we do have so that you know what we know, all right? And we hope to be able to do that. If we don't know anything differently, then that's what we'll tell you. We don't know anything differently. But we hope to have more information in regards to this on a lot of unanswered questions in this. We thank you for your lived experiences and for sharing that. And it is not gone unnoticed, okay? So again.
Speak to council before the budget hearing?
Yes.
Yeah, we do, yeah, that's right. Thank you, sir. Not a public hearing, but there is another speak to council. That speak to council meeting will be on the 13th. The 13th, that next Thursday, at 6 o'clock is another speak to council session. So you do have another opportunity, if you so choose. The 13th, it's not a public hearing. I'm saying this is the last public hearing concerning this specific issue. But you can come to the speak to council next Thursday, to speak about any issue that you want to speak about, to include, reassessments, okay? So thank you for that reminder. But you have to sign up for that meeting. See, this meeting, it was organic, you didn't have to sign up. So that meeting, you're gonna have to call ahead of time by 4 o'clock. 4:30 on the day of. And do we have that number again, Andy, anybody?
428-7538. 428.
428
75.
75
38.
38. So once again, the next speak to council session is next Thursday on June 13th at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And you will call 585-428
75.
38 by 4:30 of that day to sign up to speak to council, okay?
5 more people with you.
All right, and bring 5 more people with you. All right, may God bless you, may God keep you, is our prayer. Thank you.